8th March is not just the day to celebrate International Women's Day. It's beyond the struggles that women faces or a day to talk about their contribution to the workplace or even society. It's the celebration of womanhood. It's the celebration of the power of solidarity, the beauty of individuality, and the endless possibilities when women support and uplift each other. It's about breaking stereotypes and challenging norms. And today we have with us Dr. Haleema Yezdani with over 2 decades of experience. She is the Vice President of HIMSS India and she is also featured in the top 100 women of the future in its volume 2.
Ma'am, telemedicine itself being a very new profession, at least for common men to know, how is it being one of the first women to pursue this profession?
It's very different and very nice. More so because telemedicine is very accessible to people. As in being a lady, if at all there's a lady who gets a report or any concern in the middle of the night, she doesn't have to run out, doesn't have to wait for her husband to come down from his work, or maybe wait for people to take her to the hospital. All she has to do is dial a number, consult the doctor on the other side, and the problem is sorted out. So it's much more easier for ladies and convenient for the ladies to consult the doctor through telemedicine and telehealth. Other ways, what happens is, wait for long hours in the OPD. You know how ladies are, how we are busy in the morning hours. And in that time, if you have any issue or if you have any concern that is bugging you whole night, and you will have to get a remedy for that, or maybe a report which has come to you and you're still worried about that, what could that be? Answer for that. So if you book an appointment today with the OPD, maybe the appointment will be given to you maybe in the next 2 or 3 hours. Then go there, you wait for the doctor for hours together, again causing anxiety, and the work at home suffers. You have your whole family dependent on you. So telemedicine is more accessible, and for me, being a lady, I feel it's a boon for other ladies and other people around. So definitely, I'm very happy to be the first few doctors to pursue that.
Ma'am, so does that mean when I'm consulting a doctor through phone, that is telemedicine, don't I have to wait for appointments or?
It's very rare that in telemedicine you get to wait for long hours or long duration.
Okay,
Doctors
unlike
are
the
there around the
traditional
clock.
medicine.
Yes. So
Okay.
we do have people linked in through the portal. And if you are registered to the portal, you'll have some doctor attending to you in a very short time. So accessibility is very good.
Ma'am, when did your journey start in the medical field? Were you always dreamt of being a doctor, or how was your journey looked like? Or was there any complication you faced? Because like doctors have to read a lot on, you spend a lot of time with the learning about so many things. So was there any complication that you faced, and then what was the challenges that?
Yeah, it's a very good question. First of all, I began my journey, completed my MBBS and my internship in 2001. And the question why I became a doctor. There's there's a saying that behind every successful man there's a woman. But for me, it's the other way around. My father was, I would say, the driving force for my education. My mother, of course, always stood by him for everything. And my father was very particular that I become a doctor, serve people who wants attention, the underprivileged, the people who are, constantly into problem but don't know the solution, especially in the medical field. There are a lot of such people who basically just go over the counter, take any medication, harm themselves because there's an issue with the finances. So to serve them and basically to, I would say make health for all possible. So my father was the driving force behind me becoming a doctor and entering a field like this. The next part of your question about hassles, I think all of us face as doctors the initial nudge of, I would say the initial josh of being a doctor or starting off with medicine starts off the day you enter your dissection hall. The day one we enter our dissection hall, the first challenge we face is dissecting doing the dissection itself. So with that, once we are through with all of that, we finish our phases of MBBS. We have our thicks and thin throughout the course. Especially it's more so because I was in a hostel, and the hostel, of course, it's always been I would say for me it's a very different experience and a very nice one, to be very frank about it. But staying away from home has its own consequences and all that. That was also a part of the challenge, staying away from the home for the first time, and being a pampered child. Daughters are very fond, how fathers are for daughters. So being a very pampered child from my father and staying away from the family for the first ever time, that itself was the first challenge. Then the course was done, internship completed. Then of course we had our own experience of being residency, being residents, a very different phase of life again, wherein we are with the senior doctors. We try to learn more. We follow them. In fact, we would want to know what they are up to and how things are in medical field. That was a different phase. Then we got to a registrar. Then we became, independent doctors ourselves. So every phase has challenges. Being a lady, it becomes more so difficult. Having a, I would say, a home to take care of, having your own, kind of stuff to take care of, and then going into late nights duties and morning duties, things got very haphazard and get little challenging for ladies. But of course, nothing that pulls us back from that. But it is, kind of a challenge at every stage, I would say. And after I got married, I went to Saudi, and in Saudi, I spent a couple of 6 to 7 years. I was an intensivist there. I practiced in a hospital out there with the ICU. And it was again a very different experience working in the ICU. Then I had some health complications out there. Things became very difficult. Getting back to India was was the only, kind of I would say that I saw it as the only hope to get back to normalcy. So I basically had to be very adamant to get back to India. When I came back, I had multiple issues of, faced multiple issues with, I had balance issues and a couple of health issues that I faced after coming back from there, which took some time to get better. Me being me, I mean, I was into medicine, and I didn't want to stay far away from medicine for long. I started looking out at ways where I didn't have to go physically to clinics, plus practice with patients. So then the telemedicine, then the evolution happened. My interest, in fact, really bloomed up in telemedicine. I started looking at things, people practicing that, and then slowly, I think today where I am, that's how it is.
Do you see any difference in gender roles in the medical field in India or outside the country? How is it different coming to gender role in medical field?
Gender role in medical field, I think it's no different, and I feel there is not much of gender bias in medical field at the moment. And though of course we have our bad days, we have our good days being ladies, and that particular we have never taken advantage of that particular situation, wherein we do have sick days, we do have bad days, but everything is alike. We go and do our best for patients. When we get to the hospital, when we are on duty, we go ahead and do it. So yeah, I don't see any particular, but yes, Saudi, when I was there, we had issues with, not exactly while working, but I was, more into vocal about presentations and conferences. But a lady presenting at a conference was a little, now, Saudi is modernized and things have happened in a different way. That time a special permission was required for a lady to go to a hotel and do a presentation in front of so many people. So I did my case presentation over there. I in fact presented a ICU case which was with my consultant, of course. But me being the speaker out there required special permission. But of course, in a country like ours, we are really grateful that we don't have any such barriers. And we are treated at par, of course. And I would say yes, I don't see any kind of discrimination at the moment when we are working. I don't see any problems. Yeah.
What exactly is telemedicine, and how did you get into telemedicine, and what are the challenges do you see in the world right now?
Okay, telemedicine. There are two terms, telehealth and telemedicine. Telehealth is an overall larger term wherein we have different practices like remote patient monitoring. There are people who are monitored with gadgets. There is smartwatch. There is the digital stethoscope. There is CGM patch, which is used for reversal of diabetes. There are multiple gadgets used for telemedicine. That is telehealth. Telemedicine is the only interaction between patient and a doctor. WHO has given a definition of telemedicine, that is interaction between a patient and a doctor, where distance is a factor, keeping multiple things in mind. So basically, we are just having a video conferencing. There can be three ways. There can be a video conferencing, audio conferencing, or a chat message. But as per the NMC guidelines, which has recently come out post-COVID, the first medium of consultation should always be the video call, because it makes it more clear. In fact, it makes it more, I would say, safer for the doctors and the patients alike to have the first interaction on the video call. because we are not there to touch the patient or to examine the patient. So looking at the patient to tell about the condition is very, very important, more so when we're having a first interaction.
Uh,
How did I come up with? I told about the situation, how it was.
Ma'am, with telemedicine, you will not know when you will get a call from a patient. It might be midnight, or especially in late night. How do you deal with it, and
Okay.
how does it make a change in your planned schedules?
See, we do have our slot timings. We are booked or scheduled at that time, and that's when we get the call. That is in the regular situations. When situation like COVID, when we have floods, when we have natural disasters, where we are the forerunners or basically manage a helpline. In that case, there is no time duration. I in fact had given my number during COVID. It was all over Google, and I have received calls like midnight. I would say I didn't have maybe hardly. I remember sleeping 1 or 1.5 hours during COVID time, and I think around 7,000 plus patients I have seen on a totally pro bono basis. So the reason of doing it, how the enormity of the problem was, and how bad the situation was. So we as doctors, if there are certain restrictions holding us back from going to the hospital and practicing, the least we could do was a teleconsultation and help people in home monitoring. So that time, yes, we had night calls, we had day calls. The time was like uncertain. We didn't even know what the time was about. Myself, that time I was running fever, but I was answering calls and taking night calls as well. But during normal times, we have our scheduled timing where we give a lot for the OPD slots, and that's when we take the calls.
When you started as a doctor initially, did you see any changes in the body language when the patient walk in? Did you find any discrimination that okay, oh,
this
the woman
reminds me.
is going to treat me?
Ah.
Or any time, like even in the telemedicine when you're consulting, have you seen those or gotten these kind of reaction?
No. Telemedicine, I have not got something like that so far.
Okay.
But I would definitely like to share this event. It happens with every female doctor in internship or early days of a career. The first thing the patients call us is sister. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, excuse me, sister. So, there was a time when we, in fact, me, my friends, we turned back and told a patient very politely, sir, we have spent 5 long years studying. Though, of course, the work nurses do, we definitely adore them. And I would say, very much pleased to be called as a nurse if at all the patients feel so. But the degree is different. The entire caliber of the sections are two different things that we're talking about. So we turned and told them in a very polite way that we have studied 5 years, spent sleepless nights, countless efforts. So we deserve to be called as doctors. So yes, I think every lady, if you hear doctor, they will have the story. And this is not on the later day of the career. Usually happens in your internship or the first half of your residency period. It's always that we are like kind of addressed as, hello sister, can you just come down? So, yeah.
So, ma'am, as we all know that you have been there in top 100 women of future published by Miami, and being one among them, how does it feel? And what helped you become one among them?
See, this is a very wonderful book which is released at Miami recently and includes around top 100 women in the digital space. There are scientists from NASA, there are people from other walks of digital space, like there's someone from crypto side, there's someone from different digital sector, and I am from the medical side. And I'm very proud that I'm the only residential Indian in that particular book featured, and my story has been published over there. It really feels very good. The simple fact that there's someone who's out from I would say, a different part of the globe, and they end up recognizing me from the other side of the world, which is something feels very nice. I mean, that too coming from a country like ours, wherein we have given a obscene number of doctors and engineers who have done their best in their life, and representing our country makes you feel very proud.
Ma'am, would you like to share about Jan Sehat?
Yeah, this is a project that we have, and this is through Project Step 1. This is by telemedicine. We are treating patients who are in Ujjain, north side of India, Rajasthan borders, where the doctors can't personally go and spend long time. So there are community health workers who are trained to access the patients who really need medical help. And through video calls, we are talking to the patients and giving them a prescription after the call. So proper consultation is happening, ending up with a prescription, and the medicines are reaching the patient on time. And it feels really good because the videos when we see there, the patients that I'm talking to, they have thatched roofs. I see people who are in wooden houses. There are people who are just having leaves to cover them. So I mean their houses. So it's like that, and you feel so nice that sitting in down south, I can talk to someone who needs medical care at such a distance from me. So that's the beauty of telemedicine. And this is what Jansehat is all about. We are training the local ladies, like something like Anganwadi workers or Asha workers. These ladies are called CHEs, community health workers, and they basically find the patients who require our help and connect across to us.
Ma'am, do you think telemedicine, especially for women, helps us focus more in personal lives and have a social life, maybe? Do you think it's been that way?
Boon or a bean?
Boon that way.
Okay. Yeah, see, it doesn't help us focus on the social life, I would say, because I would say the professional life or social life are two different things.
Right.
If I'm talking about my social life as a person, it's very different. Like I'm nowhere like a doctor, I'm with my family, more a family. If you look at me on the personal side, I'm a typical housewife with my child. I'm like kind of juggling with my family and my family stuff. But professional outlook is very different. So I think we have the space. We ladies have to always have a space for that. If I'm talking about, I having long working hours in person, maybe I would ruin my personal space as well. But with telemedicine, it makes things easier. We kind of plan things out. Like today, I had to come down out here. So I only have to do a few calls, plan up things, block my slots, and then get back to my calls after this interview. So I think it makes things more easier and I would say accessible. And my expertise has not gone waste. I mean, I would not go end up endless hours traveling. Like Jansehat, I told you, if I have to go from here to Ujjain, spend days over there in a place where I don't know anyone, maybe I'll spend 1 day or 2 days. It will not be a continued effort. In telemedicine, I have my weekly OPDs there. I have camps over there, which is a continued effort to make healthcare accessible to everyone. So continuity is always there in telemedicine.
How do you celebrate your womanhood as a doctor? And like you were talking about your project, that you are working with many community health care workers. So how do they celebrate? Do you think that they have an opportunity or to save somebody's life? Or I most of the time, like I'm aware this community health workers are in like a very difficult situation coming to it. So how do you see them celebrating, or how do you manage it? And then plus, how do you celebrate as a doctor?
As a doctor, I mean, of course, as I always tell that being a lady and a doctor, I would say we are doubly blessed. And I definitely am very happy about the fact that I was born as a lady and, of course, built up to be a doctor. And both of these are a very, I would say, special position in my heart. And more so because ladies are, I would say we are more into giving, we are more into caring, and that's what doctors are all about as well. So I celebrate it as double victory, and maybe as both are meant to be a part of each other. So yes, I think I'm really very happy about being a lady and a doctor as well. CHEs, yeah, they are really enjoying this journey, and they feel they have become the important people of their village, and they are very, they feel empowered, and when they have their own free time, they know where to interact, what to do. Instead of spending the other way around, they basically have a very channelized approach now, and they know what to do with their future. Kind of finding employment in the same field would actually help them with social working and all these things. And you know how networking in ladies is, it's much faster than gents. Yeah. So they have their own network, and they have the people who are, kind of come to them for help now, and they're enjoying the entire fact that is happening out there. So they do tell me that it's really nice. They feel very empowered about the stuff, that people are giving importance. And
Ma'am, do you feel that telemedicine is not only helping the rural areas develop in case of medical science, but also the women's out there? And if so, how would you manage to do it more further in the future?
Yeah, telemedicine is advancing. I mean, of course, rural healthcare is a part of telemedicine, and definitely it makes things easier that way. But coming to advancement of telemedicine, we have remote patient monitoring. We have multiple gadgets which are being involved now. We have reversal of diabetes happening because of the CGM patch and continuous monitoring. AI has come in now to add on to the entire thing. So we have AI in medicine, we have predictive AI, generative AI, helping people about chronic management of chronic ailments like thyroid, hypertension, diabetes, and all these things.
Are there any limitations you face being a woman and being in medical science field? And if yes, how do you overcome it and how do you suggest people to overcome it?
The limitation, I think, no, I don't see any such thing which is maybe my gender is limiting me to do. No, I don't think there's any such thing which is holding me back for nothing. But I feel very empowered. I feel very nice. And I would tell the people out there or the doctors out there, there is lot in you. It's not only about medicine. It's not only about your home. It's about you. It's about your empowerment. And always, in general, the ladies out there, it's always important that you're financially independent. Never depend on anyone, be it be your spouse, be it be your father. Of course, people are there to help you. They're there with you, but it's very important to get financially independent, and even otherwise. So once you are on your own, you understand the world better, you see the world better, and you feel empowered. That empowerment and that feeling is very important. Every girl and every lady should experience that feeling.
Do you think because of the telemedicine or digital health, do you think women will have more opportunities to
Oh, definitely.
because how does this most of the time there are families who are like completely orthodox, and there are families who are very freely like support you. So the people for a woman who's like, okay, I want to be a doctor but I don't have that courage to speak up, or like, yes, they are giving me opportunity but I don't want to go ahead and cross my limits. So because of this digital health and telemedicine, do you think it'll help them? And
See, if you have to become a doctor, initial phase is always that you have to go out and do your bit. Become a doctor first properly, then maybe branch out to telemedicine. That's a different aspect. But you have to have the courage to go out and seek what you want. If you have to be a doctor, first you have to fight that part.
okay.
Go there, get there, be there. Then once you are trained for a doctor, once you become a full-fledged doctor, then you branch out to whatever you want to. That's a different thing.
Ma'am, what would you say that the male support in your life has been in the process of becoming what you are today?
My father, I told you, my father he's no more, but I owe everything to him. If you're talking about male support, the first one is my father. My brother has always been there with me, and of course my husband stands by me in every decision and everything. So I think I'm blessed in that way, and really have a great support in my family.
From the society point of view?
My colleagues have always been helpful. I've never come across any colleague who basically, kind of maybe told me that, okay, you're using the woman card, or you're, kind of doing like that. It's never been like that. Everyone has been really great. So whomever I've come across so far, in every walk of life, including my NGO activities, social activities, there's so many people who I interact with every day. And I'm blessed to be, I really have a very good male interaction with me. People are really very nice.
So, ma'am, telemedicine is one thing, and going to Google to get your answers in another. Google doesn't always give the facts that we require, but people tend to go towards Google first and to the doctors second. What would you comment on that?
Yeah, that's the reason why telemedicine is, kind of picking up pace now. Because if you Google about a particular problem, supposing you have a small pimple on your face, a genuine thing which every lady has, you just Google, you just put it up that I have a pimple on my face and this has been from so many months. They will get you down up to the stage that you might have cancer.
Okay.
So you spend sleepless nights thinking, worrying, oh my God, I am ending up in a chronic problem. I have a life-threatening illness. All you have to do is pick your phone up. There are doctors in different dashboards which are correct. There's different telemedicine sections which are online now. There are multiple places. Register in one of them, connect to the doctor, talk to the doctor. Your problem is sorted out. Instead of Googling, you spend sleepless nights that, oh God, it's done. I'm having a ailment which is going to have a terminal problem. So instead of having that, telemedicine has found a very easy solution. Don't fret with sleepless nights. Contact a doctor, talk to them with someone who has an expertise in the particular area, and get done with it. Very easy.
Have you ever faced any incidents or instances where a patient comes up to you and listens to you, but then comes up with like, ma'am, but Google said this?
Oh yes, many.
How do you explain to such people?
Yeah, the first thing I tell them, okay, I told the same instead. I tell them the same thing. Okay, you put your problem in Google, and you try to add little more duration, and they will guide you to cancer. So this is not what you have. If you want to believe a human expertise, I leave it to you. But this is what I would say, that this is the problem that you have. You have to be investigated in this particular way. And if you go on believing everything that Google says, of course, there are multiple things that it has really helped. It has made life very different, but not in medical situations. You have to be very careful in that, because it's not that everyone is the same. Maybe he's talking about someone whose age is different, or the situation is different and all that. Medicine is always personalized. Maybe today I may react to a drug in a different way. You may react in a different way. The other two may be in a different way. Azithromycin, a simple medication, I always give this example. People can have cardiac arrest because of that. People can have allergic reaction because of that. But everyone takes it. Who doesn't take azithromycin? I mean, if anyone is having cold with a mixed infection, usually a doctor prescribes that, and you end up taking it. Are you aware that how many people have this issue? People who have a background of cardiac illness, if they just Google and they take azithromycin, they could be having a cardiac illness which they're not aware of, and they could have a cardiac arrest with that. There can be anaphylactic shock, there can be allergic shock, but that is where the doctor's expertise comes in. But today, if you Google and say which is the best antibiotic for upper respiratory infection, they will tell you azithromycin. There are so many people who have had issues with that.
Ma'am, in Kolkata, this new trend has come up of cyberchondria, where people Google search and then they don't understand what doctors are trying to explain. The aspiring doctors or the new doctors face problem in making their patient understand the value of themselves. So what do you suggest to such doctors, that how could they help the patient overcome this?
What I always tell and I always practice is, be very firm with what you believe is correct. Right? If I'm talking to a patient about a particular ailment and the patient believes and tries to convince me the other way around, I have to be firm, or I have to know what I'm talking about. Supposing if I give a cold shoulder, that may be okay, you do what you want. Not the nice approach. The best approach would be to convince the patient or tell the patient that, look, you have this problem and there's a solution to this, and I feel that you have a respiratory infection and you would need these medications. If he goes by Google, just be very affirmative and say that there could be complications because not everything in Google is what is valid. So this is the information according to me, and give everything in writing. So always doctors, we have to believe, and I feel I double emphasize on that whatever you communicate with the patient, write it up. It's very important.
Recently, there was a case of pre-wedding shoot in one of the hospitals in Chikbalapur. Later, the government took action, sacked them. But what has happened to the commitment of the doctors? Have we gone down, stooped so low that we're encouraging such things inside the hospital?
No, definitely the decorum of the profession has to be maintained, and what happened is definitely not right thing. And I think, being a doctor from my side, I definitely condemn the episode that has taken place. Of course, social media is there. We are already influenced by social media. I think everyone, doctors are not left behind. I see so many reels of doctors coming in the OPD. They make reels with the consent of the patient. But the decorum of the profession has to be maintained. Having a pre-wedding shoot in a OT is something that I think none of the professional, the community would agree on. And it's definitely something that we have to condemn. And action has been taken by the legal authorities. So I think that is what it is.
Ma'am, and also I have come up across these reels on Instagram where certain gynecologists, during the labor process, to keep the mood light or something, they dance with the patients and put up
See,
videos.
yeah.
Like, what's that
That's
about?
what. So initial thing is, the first thing in these things is the consent of the patient. If the consent of the patient is there and it is valid, I mean, we can't question that. If they have not taken the intra procedure, that is good. If they are just lighting up the mood of the patient, I think no harm in that. But then putting it up on social media can happen only after the patient gives consent. It has to be verbal and writing both. So without that, the patient can always claim that there is a problem, misconduct.
Ma'am, to wrap up the interview, the doctors are attacked when something goes wrong, or the family goes up to the doctors, trash them down. I mean, we're all humans at the end of the day, and even all of us make mistakes. But how right it is that patients' families goes up to them and hits them or physically harass
It's
them.
definitely not good, unlawful, and something that has to be condemned in a very bad way. Yes, losing a personal one or losing someone you loved is definitely a very big loss for the family side. We understand the problem, but it should not be the doctor should be blamed every time that there's a death. There's someone above us. So it's not that every time we can end up saving a life, right? So when something like this happens, what I would request the attenders to do, if you feel the doctor is wrong, or if you felt that there's a problem in the doctor's diagnosis or treatment, or the timing was not right, or whatsoever, there are authorities. Of course, now you can't make a police complaint because now the doctors are not coming under that act. But you have the KMC, you have the MCI, you have the NMC. I mean, go ahead and lodge a complaint there. But physically attacking the doctor, beating him up, I mean, I would say it's really very unlawful thing to do. Yeah, I've seen a very elderly doctor being attacked with a stool of the OPD. There's a heavy stool out there.
Yeah.
Very, very pathetic. And we would not even know what the truth is. But we see the video and we feel that so many people on the other end feel the doctor might be wrong and all that. See, we're no one to judge. Seeing a single video, I cannot say the doctor is right or the patient is right. I also understand the predicament of the patient that losing a person who is really attached to you is a big thing. But you have a way for that. You have law in place. There are so many things which can be done. Attacking the doctor is the last thing that you should be doing. I think we should always behave like a human, and that is what it is. So yes, law will take its course, and there will be different ways of doing it, but not a physical, intimidating people or attacking.
Thank you so much, ma'am.